We live? All right, we're live, everybody. It's like Mad Max beyond the Thunderdome in here tonight. We got the Master Blaster sending the methane gas to power the computer. Master Blaster decided he wanted to be a jerk today and not give us power. Hey, everybody, I'm Jay Smith here. This is Fish Pod TV. I'm here with my buddy Paul Fleming, as always.
What's going on, everybody?
And we are here tonight with the Armed Anglers. We got one of our guests we've had on here a lot here lately. We got Bobby Carroll.
Yep.
And then I have already forgot your last name. Villahakis.
Mike Villahakis.
Mike Villahakis.
That's right.
That's a mouthful if you try saying that after a few beers.
Yeah.
It straightens out.
Actually, it probably goes easier.
Oh, man.
Tonight we're going to talk about all kinds of products that you guys got there at the Armed Anglers and where to use them, when to use them, what for, all that good stuff. But before we get to all that, we're going to go ahead and get
the
to
always
our sponsors.
comical sponsors.
No, man, I got this.
We shall see.
All right, everybody. We are brought to you by Coastal Wealth. Go to mycoastalwealth.com. Get your financial future planned out. You want to be like some of those guys that end up, you got to be a Walmart greeter or something at 70 years old. You got to deal with old ladies coming in looking for the laxatives. And where am I going to find the grown-up diapers, all that kind of stuff? Get a hold of Coastal Mike at mycoastalwealth.com. Get your financial future all straightened out. We are also brought to you by Danco Pliers. Go to dancopliers.com and get you one of these nice pliers here. Super sexy. You don't want to be that guy trying to cut the line with a machete or something out there. It's got the line cutters on the side. You got to kick a guy off the boat. He pulls out a machete to cut the line. You know what I'm saying?
doubt.
That guy's dangerous.
You can't trust him
Get
anyway.
him out of here. Go to dancopliers.com. We are also brought to you by Angler Armory. Go to anglerarmory.com, become a member, and then you can be eligible for all the giveaways and the forums there. And I think you get a discount off of some of the tournament fees and all that kind of stuff. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. But
Yeah, I don't think so.
okay. Well, that's why Paul's here, to keep things on track, everybody. Otherwise, I'm just giving stuff away. Go to anglerarmory.com. We are brought to you by Atlas Tracks. Go to atlastracks.com. That .net is not supposed to be there. Paul was supposed to fix it, but he likes messing with me. I think that's what it is.
I'm not allowed to touch your Windows computer over there.
You might get Apple all over it.
I'm waiting for the boat one.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, no, I don't do them all the same all the time. Don't lose your boat. I see guys all the time on Facebook, and everybody, help me find my boat. It's gone. And, well, you got to be careful with Atlas Tracks, too. If you have that thing on your boat and you tell your wife at work and she happens she happens to check the thing there, you might get yourself in a little bit of trouble.
The other cool thing that you can do with Atlas Tracks is you can actually give a float plan. Man, I'm telling you.
I barely touched I didn't even touch the button, and now it won't go back.
What did you do? There you go. Oh. You can play the video while I'm talking about it.
Set this thing on fire one day. I'm going to be so happy. I'm going to dance around it.
So with Atlas Tracks, you can actually do a float plan. So if you're going out fishing a tournament, or you just got a group of guys who's going out
like
fishing,
you were doing that just now.
I'm telling you.
That was pretty cool.
You can actually set up a float plan, and they will help monitor your progression through your trip. So your family can follow along and make sure you're safe.
Just keep your login secret from your wife and all your friends, because your friends will take all your fishing spots, and your wife will know when you're skipping work. So
that's for sure.
AtlasTracksUSA.com. We are also brought to you by GoPuck. Go to GoPuck.com. Take care of all your charging needs. Keep your Hero 5 going all day. Keep your phone. That panic that sets in when your phone's at 2%. You're like, oh, no. I'm going to be
That's
cut
what I
off
said
from
this
the
past
hive.
weekend.
That happened to me today.
I'm going to be cut off from the hive. Something bad could happen to me. Nobody know where I'm at. Remember the days we didn't even have a phone to even worry about
I know.
it? Man, those are the days, huh? Go to GoPuck.com and you can keep your flip phone charged up. And we are also brought to you by Central Marine and Yamaha. Go to centralmarineservice.com. And, see? Video?
Yeah.
Jay, what boats do they have?
You can take a look at the fine boats they have at Central Marine and Yamaha. The Cobia, the World Cat, Parker, and Skeeters.
Wow.
He got it.
Baby.
He got it. He got
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You know what? It only took second to the last show of the year to get it.
Hey, I only been doing this a couple times. Shut up.
Yeah, he's been on here a couple
We
years,
are also
you know?
brought to you by Gelux. Go to Gelux.com, and this is the worst computer to run this video with. But you can make your dock or your boat just a party. Look at that thing. Put some music in there. Get crazy.
We need that for the action craft.
And man, I tell you what, when it's those foggy mornings, you're trying to find your dock.
It was bad.
Light that sucker up, man. I could barely see out the front yard the other day. Couldn't find my little dog was out there using the bathroom. Couldn't find her. I almost lost her.
Yeah. And it is nice because they actually have a full, aside from the actual lights they have for the boats, they actually have dock bumpers that light up, and they're actually controllable by your phone. So you can pull up to your dock and hit a button, and
that's awesome.
your whole dock
cool.
lights up. So.
All right. We are also brought to you by Gills. Go to gills-gear.com and get your fine fishing apparel like these folks here. I don't know how, we all know about the manatee baby belly button hairs.
Yep.
But, how they bring all that together is some sorcery of some sort. Ginger sorcery, I think, from Kent. Go to gills-gear.com.
No. That's K-Love.
K-Love. That's right. I almost forgot about that.
K-Love.
Get old K-Love. K-Love designed some nice stuff here. I actually do. I love all that gear.
And they just came out with these nice fleece.
It's so comfortable.
Oh, they are. They're so comfortable.
Hey,
Do you have yours with you?
Yeah, but it's inconvenient to get it. I'm fat. I can't get to it right now. All right, everybody, go to gills-gear.com. That's it. Victory is mine. Huh? How about that there, smarty pants?
You know what? You actually did okay today.
All right. Well, we've got Bobby Carroll here, and he just came in second place the other day at the one-man pro.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, huh?
There
Wait,
he is.
I can go back and forth between this, so here, look at that.
Nice. There he is.
Cheese, second place.
Nice.
Hey, that's a rare smile right there. When I'm in my fish mode, you never get the smile.
Yeah, unless there's a paycheck in your pocket.
There was. It
I gotta tell you one thing, man. You guys, that whole one-man thing is.
It was
such
very
a great,
interesting to watch.
It was
super cool format to everything.
I was so in the zone, and it was bad because my cameraman Matt, he's like, "You just slipped in the first." I'm like, "I did what?" I'm like, here we go.
Don't feel any pressure.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, and this was at like 9:30 in the morning.
That's kind of weird having that, right?
It was,
usually you don't know where you're at.
Yeah, I didn't want to know. I said, just let me fish, let me do my thing. And he's like, I'm just letting you know you're in first. He goes, I just want to add a little more pressure to you. And he told me ahead of time. He's like, I'm telling you right now, every time you hook up, I'm gonna rag on you, and then this and that. Well, he told me.
You actually had some interesting stories. So you actually stayed the night before the event at
Matt's house.
At Matt's house.
Yes.
And Matt's cat was messing with the rods.
Yeah.
And twanging the
let
lines.
him tell the story.
What happened? He asked me. He's like, "Do you want to rig these upstairs or downstairs?" I'm like, "I'll rig them upstairs. That way I know my rods are with me.
Yeah.
It's like my babies." So I'm up there and I hear, "Bing, bing."
Hold up. Did you tuck in your babies? Please continue.
Okay, I did pet them before I went to bed. So I hear this bing bing. I'm like, what the heck is that?
Like a guitar string.
Yeah, because I had them tight. I go over there and this little cat. It's an African Savannah, so they're a little pricey, If it wasn't that expensive of a cat, he would have gone swimming.
Easy. He didn't mean it, Peter.
No.
He did not mean that.
But
these are jokes. This is a comedy show.
Jokes. So I get over there and I look at my stuff, and 2 of my rods were cut clean from his nails at the reel. I'm like, no big deal. I tie him back up. First thing in the morning, Saturday morning, second cast. I was telling you, I had tailors like all around me and stuff.
Yeah.
10 feet from the boat, I just flick it. And I'm like, I'm on, bink, at the reel. I'm like, I look at Matt. I said, your cat is going swimming. It's going. And he starts laughing because, it was so quick that I couldn't even, he didn't even get the live shot yet. He was already getting the phone up because he knew I was going to get eaten. So he already had it up because he wanted to get the hook on. And as soon as I set the hook, bink, I'm like,
oh.
Why is this the first time I'm hearing this story?
I don't tell you all the bad stuff. I can't tell you all. Mike, we took second place. By the way, his cat cost me 3 fish.
Yeah, I almost had first.
Yeah, it was a great morning, and like I said, there at the awards thing, that as far as sight fishing and all that, it was by far my best day. I mean, most consistency I've ever had with weight wise. It was 5.5s.
We were watching.
We were watching
all the
it.
way
It was
across the
really,
street.
yeah. It was
Were you
really
on
cool.
the same? Were you moving around? Were you on the same pod, falling around all day?
I stayed on the first pod for a couple hours, and then I wanted a low water. And like I said, the day of the tournament, it was lower than I expected, which helped me out even more. So once that tide came up, they started scattering. So then I had 4 spots planned out, because where I fish, they're all within 5 minutes running. I don't have to make a 15-minute run and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, these fish are done. I beat them up. Let me go here. Let me go there. And if you watch my videos, each scenery is completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point I fished a creek no farther apart than you guys.
That was a really cool area. I mean, just up in the mangroves and
you were there the one time. There's very few that know that spot because it's kept quiet. And when I need a fish, I can go there, and it's 95% of the time there's a little herd sitting in there.
Yeah.
So, and I went there.
You're gonna have a bunch of people following you here now. You know that, right?
Well, that's why the boat. That's why the boat's not wrapped yet. That's the other part I ain't told me. I said, man, I'm sick of people following me because it was happening. Oh, there's the armed angler's boat. There it is.
Yeah.
There's Bobby. So I'm like, this is my
Some
chance.
people, all they need to see is a wrap. Period.
yeah,
It
they
don't
just
matter
see a
who it
rat.
is.
Oh, well, these guys apparently know what they're doing.
So I went to that creek anticipating I was just gonna start plucking, 1.5, 2 pounders. Well, then I start pulling out a 5 and a 5. I'm like.
Yeah, I mean, we were watching it, and that was a big key to your second place victory is that you were in quality fish. There was, I think you had one, maybe 2 smaller fish, but they were all consistently in the 5 to 6 pound range.
I had one that weighed in like 1.67, and the rest were all a high 4 to a mid 5.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, it couldn't have gone better with what I set up on and what I talked to you the week or two before. I said, Paul, I'm telling you.
Yeah, you said it.
If they eat
the same way,
I'm going to be up on the top. And I told you guys that. I knew it because, I mean, I'm not. I talk to everybody. You guys see me amped up. But when I get on the boat, there is an alter ego to me. I shut down. It's business mode.
Come out of the shadow.
You know it. And that's what Nines Optics was talking about to me. They're like, do you ever smile in your pictures? Because I'm like, even when I take my pictures, I'm straight faced, and they're like, dude, you're like an outlaw out there. And
You're kind of like Wyatt Earp back in the day. They didn't know to smile.
Yeah,
that's it.
Oh, that's how he came up with it. And I'm like, the outlaw. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start hashtagging that out. And so that's what we're building.
Now you got to grow out your mustache like Paul.
I just shaved it off before I came here.
You should keep it that way.
I'll grow it out.
Way better. Dude.
Yeah.
That's like almost 2018. You got to move out of those days forever.
I gotta tell you though,
the goatee's still in though.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's probably the problem with your computers tonight.
Probably.
It's probably hitting the button.
Is messing everything
I'm
up.
telling you.
But I mean, look at that list of people. I mean,
Well,
I'm not joking. Jeff Page told me the night before at the captain's meeting, he's like, my money's on you. And when I heard that, it was like an eye-opener to me, but it was so appreciated.
He said that to everybody. I'm just...
probably did. He was probably making bets with everybody so he could still come out with some good money on top.
Yeah.
But I have idolized Jeff Page since I was like a little kid because he used to make those little videos back in the day waiting. And when he was talking to me, and I mean, we chit-chat through phone and stuff like that, and when he told me that, I was like, I'm really going to have a shot at this.
It was definitely interesting watching throughout the day the different strategies to play. Because, like, Jeff Page, he caught 12 fish.
Yeah.
And it was, I kind of wondered if people were just going to grind out those little fish that they found them and they were eating and be scared to leave them.
And Jeff was, like I said, Matt was watching, which, like I said, Matt's a fisherman, but he hadn't been in that environment yet. And I'm like, don't tell me what's happening. Florida Pro Redfish is live. Jeff Page got another fish. Jeff Page got another fish. Jeff Page got another fish. I'm like, and I look at him, and then I'm just like, all right. I said, just leave me alone. I'm in the mode.
Yeah.
And then, and then it was funny. Another funny story I had out there. So he's talking to me, just talking his trash in my ear. Just keep me in the game, mind focused. So I didn't know he snuck behind me. Because he was going to try and videotape because we saw the tails. Yeah. He was going to try and videotape a hookup. Well, I look and I turn and go, pop! And I hit him. I stuck my jig in his jacket, in his neck. If he didn't have that jacket there, it was going to be bad
You
news.
would have had to kick him overboard and use that for chum, you know what I'm
telling you.
But y'all saw how big he was. I mean,
Matt's a big dude.
6'6".
That's a lot of chum. He looked like a bleeder. He probably...
Well, I was like, this is perfect.
I'm joking.
I was like, this is perfect. I'm 5'6". He's 6'6". I'll never have to have my spots shown because he can just hold his camera up like
up
this.
High, yeah.
So I'm like, it's
and
perfect.
it worked great.
But
it did. It worked really good.
I mean, without armed anglers, I mean, they've been my supporter for this. And when I came to Mike and we teamed up, I was like, Mike, I'm going to put armed anglers on the map. I said, you have my word on this. And he's like, all right, let's ride with it. So without him starting me on this pro tours and all this stuff, I would just be that dude dreaming to do that.
It's sponsors like Armed Anglers that makes all this work.
And
it's all this whole scene wouldn't happen if
Yeah.
it wasn't for all these people
That's
stepping
it.
up. Yeah.
I mean, Armed Anglers came through for me on this tournament. Advanced Marine, they're on Grand Boulevard and Holiday. They have been my mechanics for years, since I was probably 16 years old. I'm 31 now. I mean, I've always gone to them, friendly service.
Yeah, great place.
Yeah,
Great
and
place.
they were like, you know what, whatever Mike puts up, we'll match it. I'm like, okay. And then Top Water Culture, the apparel line. Now, I've only been with them 2 months. You know what, whatever they haven't covered, we got the rest. We know we got you. I'm like,
Yeah. Well,
I'm
it's
like-
good to have that support. I mean,
and
that's the way to get there.
But it shows that, you know, the more people that are believing in me, I get that much more drive. And
Sure.
It's just, it's going to go. I'm telling you, it's going to go. And I mean,
Well, it was definitely cool to watch everything go on over the course of that day. And I think everybody who was at that had sponsors got represented well. You know what I mean? You guys
they
were.
did.
I mean, everybody at the top of the top of this chart here just kicked butt all day. And
but I mean, the quality of guys up there now, like Captain Kyle Stanton, he's a guy up my way, Crystal River area.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was fishing. I saw him at the captain's meet, and I'm like, great, here we go. And look what he turned in. I mean, 8 fish, but
I mean,
8. I mean,
Yeah, it's
Next
just
year
all
better be first
just all
place or
depends on just it depends
Yeah,
on the size
you
of the
think-
fish. And I mean, Captain Josh Bibler, man, he
I
ran
wish
over
we could
today.
have got more time to talk to him. Cause
He did.
He did kill it, man. You
Yeah.
gotta
He
hand it
did.
to him,
I
man.
mean,
And that's-
65.56 pounds worth of redfish in one day.
now, like I said,
That's a
It's
day,
unheard
man.
of.
That's
It's
a
unheard
day of
of.
red fishing right
Oh, yeah.
there.
if you look at that board, right, you got Josh at 14, which is insane. But then you have Jeff catching 12 fish, who finished
Right.
7th.
It's
So
very
it
seventh,
it
right.
really tells you the consistency of fish that we were all in,
Yeah.
and not only just in getting.
Well,
to
and
eat.
that's where strategy plays out. Do I stay? I've got a ton of small fish here. Do I stay here and rack the board up, or do I leave and go try and find bigger fish? I mean, that's what's so unique about this
Yep.
particular series is that there's so much that you can do, and
I think you're going to see as we move forward in the years to come, you're going to see more people kind of emulate this. I think because it's a really interesting format
It
for
is.
everything,
Yeah.
and it's fun to watch. You know, a lot of times these tournaments, of course, even with us calling them, you know, and
Yeah.
everything, you still come out. You only see so much. You see these guys pulling,
Yeah.
showing their fish or whatever at the very end. But this was all day video of
And-
just
nonstop.
The other
yeah.
thing that's crazy
and
is
watching the chart change all day. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
the other part that's crazy though is me and Tad Van Fleet, my partner. I mean, we go hand in hand. We fish together all the time, and you could put us on the boat, and you could say don't talk to each other for a week. I'm already gonna know what he's grabbing to throw. He knows what I'm gonna throw, and we can turn around. And we're gonna have the complete opposite baits on, which is what you want.
Yeah.
So when you go down to this one man, it's your bait that you're thinking with no extra help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't rely on Tad in this because I'm not going to have the secondary bait being thrown that they might hit more than mine. So, I mean, you're bringing double the rods. I mean, it is a lot of
Yeah, and
work.
we saw a big difference in what people were throwing. There was some people were throwing gulps in the morning.
How
We
about
had a
that
couple
guy,
of top waters.
was it Bibler that was throwing the frog thing?
It was actually the Z-Man hog. It was not a frog. It was a hog. I went back and looked at it. It's a Z-Man hog, and he was hammering them on those things.
I stuck between Egret Baits. They have a bait on there called the Slick.
Mm-hmm.
That is my favorite bait for low tide
Yeah.
because it's rigged weedless. It acts like a jerk bait, but it also gives you that out of the water like finger mullet flick on top. You know when a finger mullet
Yeah.
flicks, and when redfish are feeding and they feel the flick of the vibration, they're what was that? So if it's not getting with the the jerk bait style,
Yeah, it's getting
and you
that.
give it a little bit of a different
Yeah.
presentation, it flicks up. And
Yeah,
then
and I think that was Captain Withers who had that.
Was that?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was Captain Withers who was doing
I
that.
saw a lot of people were using soft plastics. Saw a few spoons,
Few spoons.
and there were actually
And there was some top water in the morning we saw.
Yeah, and I think that was producing
I
the
could-
little guy too.
I wanted to throw top water, but it didn't make a point when they're feeding down and tailing. So
Yeah.
I literally stuck with the Slick and a gulp all day. If it
Yeah.
was something tight in the trees, I needed to get down like you saw in that creek with a little bit more depth. I threw a gulp on a 1/8 ounce jig. If it was water and a foot or less, I'm throwing the Slick.
Yeah.
All right, well,
I actually talked to Kent just the other night, and there was such rave reviews on and everybody watching. I know that the guys up in the Panhandle are interested. Jacksonville, possibly in Louisiana. So I think come 2018, you're going to see a lot of one-man pros popping up. We'll obviously be bringing those to you live. But yeah, I think it's just a cool format, and I
Yeah.
think that's really going to take off.
It's fun. I'm sure it was fun for you, but
Yeah.
it's fun for people who are just watching and following the whole thing.
Yeah, keeping
It-
everybody interactive.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very
Okay.
interactive.
Yeah.
And just being able to follow everything, and I think it just adds so many new elements. It adds an element for some people watching, but it also adds elements for you guys, the anglers, because now you see where you're at. That pressure's on. You know where everybody's at. It's almost like a football game or something where you know what the deal is. You're in the final
And
part
that's
of
what
your
it feels
day,
like. You
know?
feel like you're in like
got pressure.
game. You're in game mode.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got texts instead of people comment, all right, you're doing good, thanks, good this and that. But it's good for like sponsor purposes. They see their guy out there catching fish and putting them on the map.
Yeah.
You
What
know?
I would like to see this coming year is I would like to see guys talk a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then say that, like, hey, I just caught this one on
Yeah.
this, stuff like that. I think, and this is so new.
Yeah, it is.
Some of the guys weren't really hip to it yet, but I think that's
I think
gonna
as it progresses, they'll get used. They get more
Yeah.
comfortable at talking to the camera and
I
everything
wanted,
else.
I wanted to tell my bait, but the color I was using isn't even out yet.
super secret.
No,
Yeah.
it is. It is. Like
no, it's all
even
good.
when I fished with.
We
the-
saw
the
you with
owner.
that pink lure, man.
Hey, man, hey. But
There's nothing wrong with pink either.
No.
It does catch
Well,
fish,
It
man.
does, you
the-
get catches fish.
the following day after this, the owner of the slick came on my boat Sunday,
Mhm.
and I said I wanted to show this. He's like, "Don't you dare, don't you dare." He's like, "Not yet." I'm like, "All right." So
Oh, that's awesome. So, real quick before we get out of this and start talking about this equipment and armed anglers, just shout out to Jeremy Himes. He had the biggest fish of the day. It was like a 13.5-pound
Yeah, he did.
redfish.
Of course, it was
That's a-
out of the slot.
Yeah,
for this
it
particular
didn't
event.
count because it was too big. The cutoff was
9.99.
Yeah, so
but that's a heartbreaker. Cause you stick a good fish, you're like, "Ooh," and then
You're
you
so
see
excited.
the tail or something come up, you're
Yeah.
like, you're like, "Yes,
Yep.
this is it," and then you're like, "This isn't it."
And you could actually hear it in himself. Like he got it in the boat and he got it on the scale and he goes, "Well, yep, that's what we were afraid of."
Yep. And I was just thinking about if he would have been able to keep it, he would have knocked old K-Love out.
He would have. He would have knocked him out.
All right, so that was the one-man pro last weekend. It was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the next one. Now, we've got a bunch of equipment in here today, stuff that they keep at the Armed Angler store. And we're going to talk.
Which I hear is crazy.
It's just a fraction of what he carries.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
It's-
We don't
it's
have that
crazy.
much room on
Small,
here. I only got so
small,
many
small.
cameras. I probably just put mine right in the shot there. But anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about Armed Anglers. Where are you guys located at? Let's start off with that.
Well, our address is 1801 U.S. Highway 19.
Do me a favor and move your microphone just a skosh closer.
Scooch. We
Ah, there we
Oh,
go.
there it is.
Beautiful. Hear that radio
A little
voice?
closer. Give it a little bend, Mike.
There you go. Talk.
How we doing?
Oh, that's
he
good.
was
Hey.
listening for it, but not saying anything.
Did you?
That was awesome.
It's like a little bird. He's cocking his head.
So where you guys located?
So our address is 1801 U.S. Highway 19, Holiday, Florida. We're just north of the alternate 19 and 19 intersection.
You guys have been there a while.
We have actually been in that area for 20 years.
Yeah.
I started the business in 1998. We were a small little bait and tackle shop, 700 square feet. And then from there, we moved from a 1,500 square foot shop. We were there for 6 years. And 2 years ago, we made the big jump to where we're at now. Over 4,000 square feet. We expanded on everything that we've carried in the store. We expanded on our reels, our whole bunch of lure selections, soft, hards, everything. We brought in apparel. I upped our live bait selection, our frozen bait selection, everything. We just brought in more, everything because we were so small and restricted in the store that we had before. And we made that jump. We were just able to fill it up. And now we're 2 years in, and that place is full, and I'm already starting to run out.
And
Yeah.
you got the other side that is
Obviously
Yeah,
doing
that's what-
something right.
Th-
you
th-
know?
and this is my favorite part. This is a one-stop shop, ladies
Yes.
and gentlemen. You can go get your live bait, your rods, your reels, and you can go get a new firearm or your
Firearms,
ammo and
ammo.
all that other stuff. It's great.
And then you walk out the door, I got beer and cigarettes right there, too,
Boom.
man. So-
Everything.
Nice.
That is a true one-stop
Literally a
shop.
one-stop shop.
Now you see why I went in there. Like, Mike, let's team up.
Yeah, right?
I can literally go in and grab what I need.
Well, obviously you're doing something right to have that kind of growth. Man, whenever I go into those big stores like that, like this, it's almost like angel trumpets as you walk into
Yeah,
the door.
no
Like,
doubt.
Yep.
You know, the
home.
best part.
Does that still happen for you? Does that luster wear off?
Well, no,
after a
no,
while?
it still happens. But one of the most nerve-wracking things, because we for 2 years. It took us 2 years to actually refurbish this whole building, and we put in all this work for 2 years, and we're coming up to the open, and we're like, man, is this gonna work? You know, we put in so much money, put in so much
Sounds
time.
like us every show.
Yeah.
Every show, no doubt.
And then as soon as we opened up, people walked in, and just seeing their face, and they're like, oh my God. You know, they walk over to our reel display case. Our reel display case is not like a regular reel display case. I have it up on the wall, so each reel hangs on the wall and hangs down so you can see everything. The presentation is beautiful. It was an idea that I had, and we built it ourselves. So knowing, putting in all that effort and watching people's face, it pays off knowing that you put in that much hard work, and blood, sweat, and tears, man.
That's awesome.
I would say, too, the other thing besides the craftsmanship that went into this place and the tack and all that, you're going to walk in there one or two times, and they're going to know you. Yeah. It's not like you walk in there, oh, you need this, this, and this. It's, hey, how you doing, man? Good and good. Yeah. Let me know when you need something. Because when you walk into a tackle shop, 9 times out of 10, you know what you want, what you need.
Yeah.
So they let you do your shopping.
Mm-hmm.
There's no heckling, there's no hassle, nothing like that. So even if you're, you know, a new up and coming angler, they kind of let you feel out the shop, and you watch, you know, what people are, you know, the section they're in, what they want, and this and that.
I ask questions.
Yes.
That's my key to when customers come in. I ask questions because you're not going to know what you want all the time. So asking questions, getting a feel of
take advantage of the wisdom that's in the store when you can. You don't want a brand new angler coming in and he's going to go out for his first tarpon and he walks out of there with a Zebco or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So with the 2500.
Right. So definitely, and that's I tell people that all the time. Like, yeah, sure, you can go to some of these big box stores and buy stuff, but you're not going to get
the help.
You're not going to get the service.
It's going to be generic. One, you're not going to get all the good stuff. One, and then two, if you don't know what you're doing, there's nobody there to help you. That guy that's in that fishing department does not care about fishing whatsoever.
It's just not. Like I said, though, it's nice to be able to walk around. I mean, because like I said, the mom and pop places, you know, that's their pride and joy is to make their money too. But this place, you go in there, and you can walk around for 20 minutes, and there's no pressure in there. And this was before I got with Mike. I went through his dad, you know, and then Mike came into the shop when, you know, he was of age, and we also played Little League Baseball together. So we already knew each other prior. But I'd go in there a couple times, and I'm like, this is just so awesome. Yeah. Like, there's no worries. Oh, gosh.
I'm looking forward to getting up there and doing a show out of that place.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Got plenty of room.
That we definitely need to do.
All right, so we've got a bunch of reels up here. I guess we might as well start with reel selections and stuff like that. What all do we got here today, and what are they good for?
Well, before we came up, Bobby was talking about some of your viewers always have questions and stuff. So I brought a couple different things. Stand up here and start showing some guys.
Which camera are you blocking, Mike?
He's fine. He's
No,
fine.
you
We, we adjust to you. Go ahead. Do your
Okay.
thing.
All right, so what I got right here, this is the BG Daiwa BG 2500.
Your camera's right up here when
This
you're showing this stuff.
has been one of my most popular selling reels coming into the store. One is because Daiwa...
Kind of hold it like right.
Yeah, put the reel right about here.
Right here?
Yep.
A little bit more. There you go.
Right there. Okay. So the Daiwa BG, they have been making this reel for years, but it was in an old school body style. And some of the new school guys, like me and Bobby, did not like that presentation. So Daiwa went ahead and they made it into a new school body. They put the air rotor on it, and they put DigiGears. DigiGears are one of...
Just about to say
DigiGears.
What is a DigiGear?
DigiGear.
DigiGears is the gearing components that Daiwa has done, and they are gears on steroids, you can say. They're a lot bigger. They're a lot thicker. When it comes to the wear and tear everyday fishing, these components break down.
You want steroids in fishing.
They-
That's not a bad thing.
No, that's not a bad thing.
No,
That's not a bad thing.
and that's what the DigiGears give you. So with the Daiwa BG, right at that $100 price point, it's superior than all the other reels out there. Penn does a great job, but they can't compete with the DigiGears.
Right.
Okay?
So this reel right here that you're holding, what would this be good for? If you were going to set this up, what kind of
This
types
right
of
here
fish would you go
could
after?
be good for anything inshore. You're going after your reds, you're going after your trout, anything. You can get into a good sized snook if you're not around a lot of pilings. Okay, this is a 2500, so the drag capacity in this is not going to be able to handle some of the snook if you're around a lot of the pilings.
Right.
But if you're doing some snook fishing early mornings on the beaches during the summertime, this is something that's awesome for you.
See, now I would actually use that for a offshore sabiki reel for something like speedos on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Because it's a very delicate bait fish, and they're hard to catch. So a lighter line with a small gold hook to catch those speedos. You want something lighter tackle. So I would use something like that for like catching speedos and stuff like that.
As far as reliability, you see a ton of guides using that brand reel, which is what you. If you're a fisherman that is just getting into the world and you're like, oh, what do I want to buy, and you want your mindset, look at a guide's boat. See what kind of reels he's using, because they got to be the most reliable. That reel is on a lot of guide boats.
Yes, it is. And since it's been out for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And before it even came out, I had guys coming in. You got the new BG yet? You got the new BGs? As soon as they came in, they were flying out. So it's been a very, very, very good reel for us. The next one that I'm going to show you is new. It's Tsunami. It's the Shield. Tsunami, about 10 years ago, they came out with a reel. Not very pleased with it. What they did here with this reel is leaps and bounds ahead of what they presented 10 years ago. So when you start using this reel, they actually gave me one, and I gave it to Bobby for him to demo it. And
Yeah, the one Amanda.
the
one underneath it.
the reel, the way that they designed this reel, they put 15 different barriers inside this reel. So Bobby was taking it and he was reeling it underneath the water. Okay, which I don't ever do.
Yeah.
I advise you, do not ever do that.
It was the ultimate demo reel.
But it was demoed, so we beat this thing up.
Yeah. You want to put it through the ringer so you can tell your customers.
And it came out with, what would you say, about an A?
That was the one I caught the 43-inch snook on.
Yeah,
right there.
Yep.
That reel.
We're right off the beach, caught a 43-inch snook. He actually fell in the water
Yeah.
with this reel, getting off the boat. It was actually pretty funny seeing if y'all would have been there.
That's good when a company listens to the anglers and goes back and fixes mistakes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And, well, the gentleman that was designing the reels for Penn, they actually poached him away, and he designs these reels now.
Nice.
Well,
So
it's
Tsunami.
it's a cutthroat world out
Yep.
there.
It is.
It definitely is. If somebody offers you more money, hey, somebody's going to go. But if you're looking to get something that's not very high priced, they make one that's below the Shield. I can't think of it, but it's right around $60. Those reels are very, very affordable and durable, so you can't knock them for that.
And it looks good too. That's a
Yeah,
nice looking reel, man.
It's a nice looking reel, yeah.
The design is awesome, and what's cool is when you start taking this apart, and I said it has those barriers in there. Each one of the barriers, it has a barrier right there. You got a barrier right there. You got a barrier that's inside.
Yeah, you can see all those. Yeah, all
If
the
I took this
O-rings
apart,
and-
it's got all these rubber barrier gaskets in there to keep all that salt water out, and that's the key to any reels because the salt
doesn't take long.
No, it doesn't.
No,
it doesn't. And
Just say it out loud, Amanda.
Bring it into the shot.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
And like I said, I had that reel out for about a
It's
month.
okay to talk.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
about a month of me testing it, and literally every time I went out, I'd hold it underwater for 10 minutes, reeling it. It was solid.
Well, and then obviously reel maintenance is a big thing. So
Yes,
always
definitely.
we always like to plug our Cleanse Oil friends
Always,
over there.
right.
Yes, Cleanse Oil. That's one of my best-selling oils. That's inside.
It works for everything.
If you have any reel that's gummed up, salts in the bearings,
Even a brand new reel.
Yeah, just brand new.
Put Cleanse Oil on it. It prevents all that wear and tear. Prevents rust. It does a really, really good job. I've actually had customers come in and they've had reels, and they're like, oh, what, can you do something for me real quick? And I take some of that cleanse oil, take it apart, put it in there, and they're pleased, and they end up walking out with a whole bottle of it.
Yeah.
So it does good.
Sells
good
itself.
stuff. Oh yeah, it definitely does. The next reel that we got here is Shimano. I'm going to go through a couple Shimanos here. This is the Sahara. What Shimano did with their whole entire line is what they call Hagani. Hagani, I'm not even know if I'm saying it right because it's Japanese, but their Hagani coal forging process. They have
Hagani.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Hagani coal forging. They have taken and they no longer hot forge any of their parts. They coal forge everything. So with that, when you hot forge something, it has to cool down. So during that cool down process, it warps, it shrinks.
Tweaks. Yep. Mm-hmm.
You get air pockets and air bubbles, and it weakens the integrity of each metal component. And with the coal forging, it does not happen. Now, without the shrinking and warpage, every part lines up perfectly. So just the precision, and everybody knows with Shimano, they're so smooth.
Yeah.
Now with the Hagani, they're even smoother. So that's the Sahara, and that one's right around the 79 price point. And then I brought in the Stratic,
That's a favorite.
Yeah.
one of my favorites. I fish with the CI4 because I throw a lot of artificial baits like Bobby does, and that lightweight, just constantly using artificials. You want something nice and light. Now here they do the same exact thing. They use a Hagani coal forging process.
Hagani.
That could be a new.
You're
plug.
gonna got me. You're gonna start. I'm gonna start saying that at the shop now when I'm talking about it. Because of Hagani. Now, moving over to something that's a little bit, we wanted to cover different price points.
Yeah.
Akuma does really, really good with their lower end stuff. They have higher end like the Cedroses and the Azores. The Azores is another great reel. But this is the ROX. I sell a lot of these to the customers that are coming in and out of town. They're here for a week. They need something, they can't bring back with them. The ROX does very, very well. They also have one that's called the Samar. Okay, it's about $49. I sell that thing like crazy because of that price point, and it is a very, very, very good reel. So that was, that I didn't bring that one. I don't know why. Just the looks.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I own quite a few Akumas.
Yeah.
And I've never been the guy that goes and spends a ton of money on the reels because honestly, some of these Akumas I've owned for 2 years. As long as you maintain them, they're great. And then in 2 years, when they finally go, you take it off, you throw it away, and you go $35-$40 and you buy another one, and they last you another 2 years.
I use those reels for people if I'm going out in the kayaks and they're not avid fishermen. I give them that setup.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because if it goes over the side, I'm not going to have to stab them or kick them out of the kayak.
Well, no, but I mean, they're very smooth reels. They're very nice.
Yes.
They're great reels. But with the lower price point, it's nice because you can use and abuse them, and as long as you maintain them, they last. I mean, I've got Akumas. I got an Akuma in there. It's 3 years old.
They also do something that these other companies don't do. They have the women's line of the pink Akuma that they make.
The pink trio and the pink Avengers.
That's Paul's color.
I sell the pink Kalen rod.
Real men use pink.
The pink Kalen rod with the pink trio. I sell that especially for Christmas and Valentine's Day. I sell those like crazy. Moving on over to a bait caster.
Yeah, baby.
to our freshwater and saltwater guys. This is the Daiwa Fuego 100 HL. Me personally, I've never liked the bait casters. As a young kid, this was the first reel that my father gave me, and he did not tell me how to use it. My dad was figure it out,
Yeah.
and I hated it. I casted it 3 times, and I hated it.
You know why our fathers gave us those? because it was pure entertainment to watch them. And I can tell you that because my father's watching right now, and I can guarantee you he's sitting at home going, yep, that's exactly what I gave it to you. We used to call that the professional override. You'd give that thing, you'd see and the thing was bad. If you took your time, you were good. You get these short casts and everything else, but then all of a sudden you'd see a big old bass jump out of the water, and you go, ooh! And that's exactly what it sounded like.
Big old bird's
Yeah.
nest.
Big old bird's nest.
You look back at him, you're like, thanks, Dad.
I can tell you from experience, I had a really nice Shimano bait caster a while back, and I had never really used them a lot before. Actually, it was quite a while back. I had this thing forever ago. Art was with me. And one day I got curious. Man, I wonder how this thing works. Don't open them up if you don't know what you're doing. I just took a peek and I cracked it open and then have the stuff out of it. And that
New
was
reel,
it.
please.
Yep, that was it for that reel. So don't do that. Please continue.
Now, switching gears to the deep seas, we got the Penn tried true.
The old
Penn
faithful.
Senator.
No, 30-aught
Yes.
Senator.
This is a 3-aught Senator
Yep.
right here. This is good for any type of snapper fishing, grouper fishing, anything that you want to do offshores here. If you want to step it up, go with the 4-aught. You know, sometimes guys like
The old
4-aught.
faithful.
Exactly. There's not much I can say about that. It's just that thing is a tank. They switched over. They're no longer made in the U.S., which we're not very happy about. But since they've switched them over to overseas, they worked out the kinks. Now they do make U.S. Senators, okay? And I've been selling a lot more of the U.S. Senators lately just because they do have a little bit more durability to them than the ones that are made overseas. So, but these right here, I have the combo, the 4-aught Penn combo, and I sell those at least 4 or 5 a week.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one of my more popular selling deep sea combos for those guys going out on the head boats and you know, down there where we're at, where the sponge docks are right there. So we have 4 nice head boats that go out. Getting back to Daiwa, what I like about Daiwa is with more of their high end stuff, which now they're bringing it down to the 100 price point, is they have their bodies. They have the Zion bodies now, so they're just as light as the CI4s, okay? And they've taken what they call mag seal, which they've have magnetic oil sitting in the bearing casings. So magnetic oil sits around those bearings, and it doesn't allow water to get into there because the salt water doesn't mix with that. So with the DigiGear, the Zion body, and the MagSeal technology, Daiwa's
Daiwa makes some beautiful offshore reels as well. We tournament fish with the Salties.
Salties, yep.
And I mean, the gear ratio on those things is ridiculous. I mean, there's a lot of times where you're trolling 6 lines in a tournament, an offshore tournament, kingfish bite, and by the time you get your lines in, that fish is dumped 3/4 of that reel.
Yep.
So when you finally turn around and start putting some heat on them, it's nice to be able to just, a couple cranks, man. I mean, you're pulling in, 10 feet of line. It's crazy.
Those salties too, even in your shallower offshore spots, you can use them as a drop rod. I mean,
could.
It's got that much torque to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the ones that we're using are obviously lever drags. For offshore kingfishing, lever drags are great.
The drag systems that they have in them,
they're great.
They're very great drag systems. Each reel has a positive aspect about them.
Sure.
Every year they're coming out with something new to try to best, this one had a good, strong frame, and the next one comes out, and every year I'm always impressed on how they one up each other. And then next year we'll go to the show and somebody else is gonna one up somebody else. But right now, if it comes down to me, Shimano and Daiwa, those are where I'm at. Pens are, they're tried and true. They're heavy for me.
They are.
They are
now,
heavy.
there is. I don't know if you carry them in your store, but for offshore, there's another really good brand, Accurate. Have you guys sell Accurates there?
I don't have the Accurates in the store. I carry the Avets. I don't really sell too much of them in the store. It's something that just does not sell for us. for where I'm at, maybe a little bit further down in Tampa and things like that.
Yeah, yeah, and accurates. I think you see more of those on the East Coast, just with the fishery that they've got over there.
Yeah.
But
you're a true offshore guy.
I am.
By
I'm
heart.
an
So
offshore
Yeah.
guy.
I mean,
Well,
feedback.
of course, I started bass fishing. I started bass fishing with bait casters, and that's where I originated, and then moved into inshore, and then I finally got myself to offshore.
you do the kingfish tournaments and all that stuff, so you're seasoned and you know what you like as far as offshore reels. Now, when we're talking offshore, I was telling Mike, I'm like, I was wondering if the question was going to come up. I know you guys haven't been checking. I was waiting for do you put braid or mono?
Yeah. Well,
What
yeah.
do you, as
I
an
think
offshore
that's
guy?
Offshore
Offshore, what do you do?
mono.
Are you a mono guy?
Yep.
Oh.
Mono. The reason why no braid is you're using mono line with a fluorocarbon leader. You need that stretch
Yes.
for the impact that those fish
That
are
strike.
hitting.
Yep.
A kingfish, if you're trolling to a knot and a half with the live bait in the back, that kingfish will rocket out of the water at speeds of 40 to 50 miles an hour. And if you've got braid, even if you've got braid with a fluorocarbon leader on it, that fish is gone. It's going to break right at the knot. It's got to have super stretch into it.
Gotta have.
Me personally, I'm a glasses wearing old fart, and we use high vis line on every single reel.
Now, are you, like you said, a high vis line? Would you ever use your braid on an offshore? Because like for me, my offshore stuff for when I'm doing my drop rigs on my grouper rigs and stuff like that, we have braid on some of them, just because I don't want that stretch.
Yeah.
Because
grouper bite's different than
that's what I was
Yeah.
asking.
Definitely, yeah.
Do you
Yes.
go?
I
do you
still
go,
mono.
You still mono?
I still mono.
Yeah. It's some. A lot of,
That's a preference to
yes,
me.
and that's I was about to say it's a preference.
Mhm.
But for what he was saying,
Yeah.
because of that initial strike.
If you're pelagic fishing,
Yes.
no braid.
No.
There's
not at all.
no braid. And I'll tell you this too, because especially when you talk about offshore braid versus mono, downriggers. A lot of people run braid on downriggers. To me, that's a big no-no. Run mono, 100-pound mono, because what happens is if that fish comes up, if your downrigger pops and that fish makes a big loop and comes up, if your mono hits that braid, guess what? Game over.
Sliced.
Game over. That's done. So, I would rather that line rub against the 100-pound mono and shear a downrigger ball and still have the opportunity to try and get that fish in than have it get cut. So
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what I was telling you. I said I see a lot of stuff on Tampa Bay fishing where it says you guys using braid for this, mono for this.
I
and
think
was
that's
like,
going to be the discussion for the ages.
I got guys coming in and they'll bring me, they'll buy an Avet and they'll fill that thing up with 200-pound Power Pro
Mhm.
and then put 100 yards worth of Top Shot on there because they're shark fishing.
yeah,
I sell more of those big conventional reels for shark fishermen
sure.
than for anything else. That's one of the big things for us around there, and they like the braid because of the line capacity.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're
Well, because most of those guys are land-based.
land-based.
fishing.
Exactly.
So you need the
have-
capacity.
Yep, you need that line capacity. But if you're out on a boat, I always recommend doing monofilament, just like
Yeah.
you.
Well, I
recommend.
mean, especially like if you're offshore shark fishing, again, I would recommend mono because if you need to put the heat on them, it gives you stretchability.
Mhm.
If you put heat on a fish with braid and a mono, a braid and a fluorocarbon leader, your weak link is that knot. It's right where those two are joined together.
Yep.
And even if your ratio, your braid to mono, like you said, if you have a skinnier braid diameter,
Mhm.
it will cut that mono in the knot itself. I've seen it happen.
Yep.
I've come up to where
Yep.
I have my braid not there, and the mono is completely sheared away.
Those shark guys,
Yep.
though, we had them in a couple times at the very beginning.
Well,
when we
they're
first started
using blood knots. So
Yeah,
these,
they have a
these
different
are
system
these are
set up.
long blood knots. So
Yeah.
I mean, no, they are there, and it's that is a knot I have not yet mastered. And I'll tell you, me personally, I'm a uni to uni,
Me too.
and on everything, braid to mono, everything.
We do the FJ knots.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the knots when we're doing the top shots for the shark fishermen. That's the knot that we use, and it's kind of like
It's a long spiral.
like a Chinese finger trap.
Yeah.
That's how I can.
It's probably the same thing as a blood knot. I mean, it really is. It probably is.
It probably is.
It takes some time to tie, but it's so worth it because
Yeah,
of the
and
strength.
it's weird. It's a unique knot because as you wrap, you then actually take it and it re-wraps over the top of itself. So it's probably the same thing. It's a blood knot,
and
probably.
it's not that style knot is also really nice and easy on your guys reeling it through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you don't have that big solid stout.
Because if you did a uni with those pound tests that they're putting on,
no, I'm talking when you're lighter tackle.
Yeah.
I'm a uni to uni.
Yeah,
That'd be a
that's what I am.
giant knot,
you,
man.
you all right over there, Jay? You're coming.
No, I'm just waiting for my time to jump in, man.
We'll go inshore. Let's do it.
Well, it's not just that. Actually, I wanted to, because I get people asking me all the time, so maybe we can talk about this a little bit. All right, you got a 2,000, a 3,000, 4,000. As we go down up the list, what would you set up each reel with? What type of rod, and what would it be good for?
It depends.
I'm sure that you can use certain ones for different things and everything. The same thing, but
the safe braid, I would say, for like your live bait, because my artificial reels are completely different from my live bait. So if I'm setting up my live bait reels for my customers or whatever, I'm doing 15-pound braid, and I usually like what Mike carries, the Daiwa J braid, and I go between that and I go between the spider wire.
So what
Ultracast.
size reel?
I do for my customers, I do 3s and 4s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
And what kind of rod would you put that 3 or 4 on?
For the live bait, a Shimano Terramar, you can't go wrong with it.
7-footer, 6-footer.
Typically a 7-foot or a 7.6 medium. Okay. If we're doing a lot of smaller trout, we'll do a medium light, 7 foot, 7.6 if you want to get a little extra castability out of it. 3,000 is right in that sweet spot that we like to use a lot.
Versatile.
It's versatile. You get a little extra drag capacity out of it, and it's light enough for doing the artificials that we do. Now the live bait, we switch over to a 4,000, okay, and then we start using the medium to medium heavy poles or 7.6. The length that is more preferable to whoever the angler is. Sometimes people like going with the 8 foots if they're going for doing some big bridge fishing or going after some tarpon during the summertime.
Right.
So that's where that starts to come in. But if we're doing everyday, fishing 3,000 to a 4,000, 2,500, if you are I'd say a more than average fisherman that knows how to use that drag, exactly, and you want that challenge going after a good sized red, being able to finesse it, at 2,500 works great. But typically a 3,000 to a 4,000.
And we, like I said, for my customers, I do a 4,000, number one, because I get line capacity on it, so I'm not having to change that. But I throw the 8-footer rod just because you can get cast distance as well.
Yeah.
Now, when I go to my artificial, it's a totally different ballgame. I have, like he said, I have my 7-footers and then my 7.6s. I drop my reel size to a 2,500, as he said, or a 3,000. But I drop my line down to sometimes, if I'm feeling froggy, I'll have 8-pound braid on there.
8,
But my majority of them have 10. But I've really been messing with the Shimano Nasi a lot. I picked up a bunch from him. I'll tell you what, pound for pound, buck for buck, I will throw that Shimano Nasi against any reel when it comes to artificial, just because it's not only durable.
What's the name of it again?
Shimano
Nasi.
Shimano Nasi.
It took the
They
place.
probably should have had a little bit better marketing idea on that
So-
one.
It took the place of the Symmetry.
Yes.
Okay, well, I would have stuck with
But-
Symmetry.
The Shimano Symmetry is no more, and now it's the Shimano Nasi.
But that reel is so light, and when I pair it with my St. Croix, like my artificial stuff, that's all St. Croix rods, because I found that as far as lightness from what I'm using and affordability, that combo does the trick. I pair
Okay,
with
so our 2,500 to about the 4,000, we're talking mostly inshore,
Yes.
real versatile, snook, trout, all that good stuff. A few things offshore, the bait mostly, because everything offshore is huge.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right, now we're going to move up. Your 5,000s, your 6,000s. What are we going to put that on? What are we going to use it for? What kind of line?
Well, your 5,000s, it depends on what you're going to go after with those. Sometimes the guys like to do the 5,000s going after the big bridge snook, okay? So they're going to put that on a 7-foot medium heavy to a heavy, Okay, I got guys that do that a lot during the winter time, and then during the summertime, especially down at like St. John's Pass, where they're constantly throwing.
Bruisers.
Oh yeah,
There's some bruisers.
where they're getting steady 30, 35s, 40s. That's what you're doing with your 5,000s, and they use 8-foot rods as well with that. A 6,000s. That's when you start pushing offshores. That's when you start getting into doing more of your snapper bites. You're doing some grouper digging. I've never personally had a 6,000 reel. Okay, if I'm doing more offshore doing grouper digging, I go a 6,500 or above.
Yep.
8,000. That's when I start getting into those. And then
So again, you're kind of moving into preference
And,
again.
like-
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Like
yep.
he said with the 5s and 6s, though, those guys aren't playing around with their braid either. I
No.
mean, they're loading 50 and 60 pound
yeah.
braid
Yeah.
Yep.
because they're tightening down the drag all the way. They're not wanting to mess around with those snook or
yeah.
the groupers on the bridge. Sometimes they're dropping them down and they want like you said, we can't. You don't like it on a conventional style reel, but you like the braid on a spin. So they're putting 50, 60 pound braid on that and just horsing them fish up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I've seen some big spinners that the land-based shark guys use. Are those getting up into what, the 8,000? Is there such thing? I'm not savvy past the 6,000.
You got 10,000s. You got 20,000.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spinning reels. That's
Yep.
insane.
Shimano's
You
make,
imagine
make,
that's-
make
Man, that's just a big drum on the end of it.
Yeah.
You got the Sirocco's that they have, the Socorros, the Sirocco's, I don't know, however they say that, and then you start getting up into. Oh, I just drew a blank.
He's got all the numbers in his head.
Oh,
So
man.
they mix together sometimes and fuse and.
He's searching.
Look,
I'm searching. I'm
Where's
going.
that?
I'm going through that Rolodex right now in my head.
but no, and when we were talking,
Saragossas.
there you go.
There we
All
go.
it took was Bob to start talking.
See?
I'm good for something, right?
It's hilarious.
But those the Saragossas. That's one of the. If you want something to go offshore with, or be able to handle some good sized snook around the bridges, a Saragossa, that's something that you want to put in your arsenal.
All right, cool.
Now-
We're starting to run a little low on time, so I still want to
Okay.
cover a few other things. Right now, we're in our quote-unquote winter. What baits are you guys preferring right now? Soft plastics? What are we looking at
Yeah.
here? What kind of lures are you using
Well,
right now?
He's got everything under the sun for baits. I mean, I could go on and on with what he's got, but me preferably right now, I'm looking for a small bait, something the size of a shrimp, unless I see the tailing redfish, for instance. Then I'll throw whatever. But your trout right now are eating your smaller baits, jigging off the bottom in the potholes. The gator trout are eating them up left and right. I haven't really tried to target snook too much, and this past weekend with it being 80 degrees for so many weeks, they're already eating again everything. So it's cool.
Instagram feed is filled with people catching
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
Not a
yeah.
bunch of monsters, really, but
No,
those
solid fish.
mid-20 fish.
Solid
you know?
fish,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
But like I said, right now I'm trying to find a smaller bait to throw. Something that'll mimic just maybe a small finger mullet coming out of the creek or a shrimp.
Right.
Yeah.
Because right now, a lot of the like the reds and all that are kind of focusing on crustaceans and all that right
and then
now.
for live
anyway,
bait,
right?
what are you
Yep.
going to throw?
Yeah.
Shrimp. I
Exactly.
mean, the white bait kind of goes away, so you throw shrimp.
Yeah, and the white bait that's in the flats is very small. So
What do you think about color in baits in your lures?
Well, right now, the more realistic baits have been doing really well for us, like the live targets. The live target, I have been selling those out the door like crazy.
Their artificial shrimp is awesome. I use it all the
The
time.
shrimp, the soft plastic threadfin herring, the green, the one that looks like a greenback, and then the smaller finger mullet, the black mullet, and then the sand mullet. Those right there have been phenomenal. And the way that those lures are designed is that they actually mimic the same swimming pattern of that species.
They
of
look
fish.
very
Yeah,
lifelike.
they do.
Especially that shrimp, man. The way that
yeah,
sucker just comes down.
Yep.
Those work phenomenal. And for guys that don't do a lot of artificials, when they come into the store, I tell them here, this is like dummy proof.
That's
All you need
close.
to do is throw
Yeah.
that out and reel it in. And they're sending me pictures of nice red snook it does very, very well.
Do you feel like you ever have to switch up your color during the day? Do you think
100%.
that ever affects your fishing?
100%. Usually on my lower light or murky water, I'll do a like a chartreuse tail or something, just something to light it up a little bit, heavy vibration.
Got it.
And then later in the day, I can throw a solid color, smaller bait, and we're good.
Anthony from Facebook is asking why he didn't bring Stella.
Why I didn't bring Stella? Well, Stella's they are very expensive, and sometimes that's out of people's price range.
Yeah.
So I tried to stay more in where a lot of the customer base
majority of the
exactly.
customer base is. Yeah.
I carry them.
Stellas are great reels.
I carry them
They
in
are.
the store. I got Stellas. I got Sustains. I got the brand new Sustains in. They switched over with the Hagani cold forging process with the Sustains. So I have those in. I didn't bring them in because, like I said, I wanted to keep something more of price friendly for the audience.
Yeah.
We had another question. Somebody was asking what line
him.
the first.
I responded to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
We
was it?
didn't. Well, he was wanting to know what type of line.
I'm pretty sure
Cat
it was
Bibbler
braid.
was, but we just didn't get a chance to get a one-on-one.
I remember
with Cat
listening to that line screaming off his reel a million
Yeah.
times. It was
It-
braid.
it was probably braid,
I don't
yeah.
know what braid, but it was braid.
Yeah.
So
It's a quick message is all it is. Find,
Yeah,
them, on,
right.
find them on Facebook. What was
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
That's it.
let's see. Did we anything else you want to ask here tonight? We're starting to get low. on
No,
time.
we've got we covered a lot of bases here. That's
Okay.
for sure.
Now I know you got all this fishing gear there at the place. You also sell firearms, which is
Yes,
also
yes,
near
we-
and dear
we-
to us here.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Any of the gun enthusiasts out there, we do sell firearms. I sell everything. I got all the major products and brands in the store. I got handguns, long guns. I got different accessories, cleaning kits. If you want to doctor up your ARs, you want to fancy them, I got all the accessories for
If
that.
you guys got all this, I'm assuming that there's somebody there with a lot of knowledge that can help a
Yes,
beginner that
yes,
doesn't know anything.
My dad is one of the best. Sometimes I think he gives out too much knowledge to the customers. he could literally sit there for an hour and a half to 2 hours with somebody and go over everything that's in there. And that's what we do at the shop. We want to give our knowledge. A lot of the people that come into the store, they don't fish a lot. They don't know the waters like we know the waters. And my main thing is, I'm not trying to sell you the most expensive thing. That's why I didn't bring the most expensive thing in here. My main thing is I want to see you catch fish.
Yeah.
Because once you catch fish, you get that fever, and then you're going to come back.
Yeah.
It helps the sport, keeps the sport alive.
Exactly,
You know,
exactly.
It gets people off their
And
phone for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Telling you.
Yep.
Well,
And
some people, I see people out there trying to do both.
I just
I don't
did-
know how to do it, man. But
I just did it Sunday. I'm trying to go live with my redfish on. I'm like, how do people do this? And I'm all like,
you need one of them.
That's why you got a Marshall.
Yeah.
And I carry a good selection of clothing apparel as well.
Very good.
I carry Hook, Skinny Water Culture. Got my own clothing line coming in.
Very cool.
So if you guys need any type of clothing to keep you safe from the sun out there, because that is one of the most brutal things. Come in and see us, man.
And people always ask me, why are you wearing long sleeve shirts? It's hot. I'm like, exactly.
it does not matter how much sunscreen you put on, you're getting
No.
burnt
Yeah.
and you're getting
You
tan.
never know.
And this keeps you cool, to be honest with
Yeah.
you.
It does.
All right, so the address is again for armed anglers.
1801 US Highway 19. Look us up on Facebook. I also have a online store, armedanglers.com.
All right.
You can go on there, look at anything that we have in the store, gun side, bait side. It's all there.
Ask for advice, all that good stuff.
Yep.
Bobby, how do we follow you online, brother?
We got a couple ways to do it. You got Instagram. You got Florida Fishing Experience, which would be Florida_fishing_experience. Facebook, you can go on Florida Fishing Experience, like my page. You'll see what fish are being caught this time of the week, whether it's inshore or offshore. Or you can just go to my basic Bobby Carroll page. I'm sure, I don't even know what profile picture I have right now, but it'll be a fish picture.
You'll
Just
find
click
it.
Yeah.
find it.
He's probably mean mugging the camera.
It's not that. It's not that one.
That's the only smile you're ever gonna find of Bobby. Ever. We have the
And-
one and only smile picture.
Unless there's a
From fishing.
1 on that plate. You'll
So I've
get it
known him
again.
Yeah, right?
I've known him for too long. I seen the smile. It's
Hey.
All right, everybody. Make sure you follow Bobby and the Armed Anglers. You can find us at fishpodnetwork.com. All of these feeds and podcasts and all that stuff we put in audio form, you can find that on Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes, anywhere you can find a podcast. Before we go, though, we got a fishing report.
Well, we
from-
do, but also, you don't want to miss next week's episode. Next week's episode is our last episode of the year. We've got a couple of our loyal fans coming in for a game show night.
They've stuck with us through
thick and thin. Yep.
Some
the very
train wrecks,
beginning.
man.
Yep. So
But,
you want to share it because these guys are going to come in and they're actually going to play for some of our Facebook viewers.
Yep, we're gonna do the game show for the night, and we're gonna give away a bunch of stuff. We're gonna have a fun time there. Bring in Manuel. I think Ron's coming,
Yep.
so we're gonna have a good time. Do that. We're gonna pick some people for them to play for out of Facebook.
And I'm going to let you guys know that I will be donating this right here, the
Oh,
BG25,
Oh, there it is.
for
Right
that game
on.
show.
Thank
Very
you
nice.
very
Thank you
much.
That
sir.
is
Guys,
awesome.
this just made this very interesting.
That's
so
it. So like
next
and
show's
share.
gonna be awesome.
That's
And
it.
then, hey, we might as well put it out there. The beginning of the year, January 6th, will be our first day on 10:40 a.m. We're going to be the new morning show from 8 to 9 on 10:40 a.m. here in the Tampa area, and I believe
1080
if you're
Orlando-
or Daytona.
Orlando,
It's
Daytona area.
Awesome. It's so, especially
Yep.
coming up and seeing NBC Sports, and I'm like, look at this.
Yeah, that's
And once
pretty
again,
awesome. That's
once
pretty
again,
Well,
awesome.
now Jason and I will actually be on the Tailgater University show on NBC Sports Talk Radio
This
this Saturday from 10 to 11. So you guys catch us there. We're going to be talking about the new show.
Yep, and have a good time with that. We just did a tailgate party on Monday. It was pretty fun, man. Who's that guy again? Fred McGriff.
Fred
Is
McGrath.
that it?
McGriff?
It's so funny because I don't follow sports, right? Tom comes in. Can you believe it? It's him. He's
Fred
out there.
McGriff.
I'm
Yeah.
like, who's that? He was
That's a
just like
great
a
guy.
legitimate face
Yeah.
palm. He was like, oh,
That guy's awesome.
Yeah.
But while we're on here, once again, I gotta thank
Childhood
you guys.
idol.
You guys always, hey, you want to come on the show? We can do this and that. And once
Well, we
again,
appreciate you guys coming on. We
Yeah.
appreciate everybody watching.
Yep.
We do have on our way out. Make sure you stay tuned. Bobby Carroll brought you
Some
a
live
offshore fishing report
Yeah.
from this week.
All right, everybody. So stay tuned for the fishing report. This is FishPod TV. We're out.
thank you.
Tight lines, everybody.
Tired of holding him. Let's go.
What's going on, FishPod viewers? It's Captain Bobby Carroll. I decided to go offshore to help you guys out with the offshore bite. As you can see, the bite has been very good. If you're looking for new areas, your best bet is to troll. You can find a lot of rock piles that way. You can cover a lot of ground. That's what we're doing out here today. I wanted the FishPod viewers to get an offshore side from me instead of doing strictly inshore. But the bite has been very good. It's been very solid. That's grouper number 5 for the day. The bait has been actually hanging about 4 to 5 feet off the bottom, so you don't even have to worry about bringing too much bait out with you. You can actually sabiki it up right now offshore. It's been about 20 to 30 feet deep with a consistent bite out here. As far as inshore goes, your gator trout have moved into the potholes on the low tide. Your redfish bite has been solid. You have a lot of 5 to 7 pound fish laying in your low tide flat spots. Like I said, we're going to go back to offshore,
still got another rod out, by the way.
concentrating on it. There is a ton of AJs, as we've noticed as well, sitting on the surface. If you guys like targeting those, yes, it's a great fight. And pound for pound, it's one of the strongest fish. So if you guys are out here on your reefs and stuff like that, look for the surface, because we actually made a mistake of thinking there was cobia because we saw their tails coming up on the surface, and it was actually amberjack, and they were
Big old amberjack.
Yeah, 60 to 70 pound amberjack. But if you would like to come book a trip with me, Captain Bobby Carroll, and the Florida Fishing Experience, you can call me at 727-271-3257. We're gonna get back here just doing some more trolling, see what these guys can pull in. We got a cooler full of nice sized grouper right now. So if you guys would like to contact me for an offshore or inshore trip, 727-271-3257. All right, FishPod viewers, have a good day and tight lines.